I'm Elizabeth Grace. Be sure to check out my new song, First Time Stranger, and you're watching my exclusive interview with Ask Anything Chat. The first question is from Sven from Chicago, and the question is, how did First Time Stranger come together? First Time Stranger was a song I actually wrote when I was like 15, back when I used to post my original songs that I wrote myself onto YouTube. So I remember writing that song. I was actually at a music festival called Creation Fest in Pennsylvania, and I wrote this song and I was feeling like very left out and lonely. I don't know why, middle child syndrome or something, but I remember we had an RV at the time and I was like sitting in the top bunk writing this song at 15, and shortly after that is when I came back home and then I put that on YouTube. Now, you know, years later, 5 years later, I'm 20 now. I just turned 20. The song has kind of evolved a bit, and so the new version of that's coming out on the 28th, or today actually, is kind of like the evolution of my feelings as I've gotten older, and like I still struggle with a lot of those feelings and stuff, but it's definitely evolved. It's all about like fighting your demons and like needing to be self-aware before you can really solve the problem. So for me, that's how First Time Stranger came together. I wrote it and composed it and kind of helped produce it a bit, but it was definitely like a 5-year process. So Steven from Tucson says, in what ways do you feel your music and music in general positively and or negatively impacts people in general versus people with physical and emotional and or mental related disabilities? And how do you incorporate how it affects them into the music that you create? I feel like as human beings, we all have mental disabilities. Like, I've never personally struggled with a lot of depression. Like, I get depressed sometimes, but it's never been like depression. I've never had like suicidal thoughts, nothing like that. So for me, when I write, I feel like I'm very much transparent when I write. It's all very honest. It's all raw. I mean, that's what the beauty of composing is for me. Like, when I'm writing, I feel like that's the only way I can properly verbalize what I've been trying to say. And so I feel like a lot of honesty is like what people in those situations maybe need to hear. I mean, it's what I need to hear when I'm depressed and when I'm sad, and I hope that it's just positive enough to maybe help people feel like they're a little less alone in that way. So I feel like it affects us all in the same way, maybe just on like deeper levels. Janet from Green Bay, or Jeanette, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, says, what similarities do you see between yourself and other independent artists? You know, I think the one thing that a lot of us have in common, especially like a lot of my friends are independent artists as well, is we're all like a little bit entrepreneur, you know? We don't have like a big team behind us, although like I'm fortunate enough to have like friends and family and like a good support system. I don't have like a manager. I'm not under management. I don't have an agent. Like, I run all my social media myself, and like a lot of independent artists I know also do that. So I would say probably like the behind the scenes stuff in that way is the biggest like similarity I see. Yeah, I think that's how I'd answer that question. So Isabel from Brazil says, if you were one of your songs, which one would you be and why? I think at this place in my life, it'd be a song that it's gonna be a song that no one's heard. So I am all of my songs, first of all, because they're all like bits and pieces of my concept album of a life. But I think I have a song called Kansas, actually, and it'll be on this record. And it was all about basically just finding happiness in like the smallest things. And at the time I was traveling, you know, I was going through Kansas. I was in Austin, Texas. We went through Oklahoma. I was doing like merch and photos and stuff for a friend's band back home when I wrote the song. And the lyric I think that stands out to me the most, and this is why I would say I'm this song, is because the second verse is, Jesus came to me as a shapeshifter, and he spoke to me as a Polaroid picture. And that was supposed to be like symbolic for how you can kind of find spirituality in anything you do, and like find happiness and enlightenment and purpose and anything. And you can't plan those things, and you can't invent those things or expect those things or intend to have those moments. You can only just be open to them. And it's just about like finding something that is really worth putting everything on the line for. And that was it for me. And I feel like that's how I feel right now in life. I feel good about it. I feel like it's a good life. Jessie from Scranton says, when you're walking and see money on the ground, how much does it need to be before you'll stop and pick it up? I would say probably $1. I'd say $1, unless I'm like getting ready to pay a parking meter or something and I need 25 cents for that, or like I'm doing laundry or something and it's just like off the top of my head I need 25 cents. Otherwise, I'd say probably $1. It's a good question. It's a good question, Jessie. You're learning a lot about me with that question. Reese from Leeds says, where do you draw your inspiration from? Man, I draw my inspiration from a lot of things. Like I said before, I think lyrically it's all just so personal. It's all like, every topic is so vulnerable, and just from like experiences that I'm having or what I'm seeing or have had. But artist-wise, I listen to a lot of like folk music. I listen to a lot of like what I would call road trip music. It's like travel music. And Radical Face. Oh my god, I love Radical Face so much. If you all haven't heard of him, you have to look him up. It's one of my favorite artists in the whole world. I know every single song. So I'd say Radical Face. I feel like I draw a lot of inspiration from local natives. And then like Imagine Dragons. And then of course I have like Warped Tour roots, you know? So like often like it's gonna be Paramore, it's gonna be like Flyleaf, just because they were like really big inspirations as a kid, I think. So yeah, I think I'd say that. Sam from, I want to say, Utica? Have you ever toured, is your question. I have not ever toured, at least not yet. I do go on tour with like friends' bands and other bands that invite me on the road to like sell their merchandise or maybe like film for them, or sometimes I do photography for people, like tour photography or show photography. But I have never actually had my own tour. I play shows around California, but I haven't had a tour yet. So, putting that on the list of things to do this year. That was actually like a resolution. So, Shannon from New York City says, can you show us your tattoos? Do you have any special meetings? It's a great question, Shannon. I love answering this question. So, I think I can show you all of my tattoos. So, this one up here is Hebrew, and I'm not Jewish, but I'm a very spiritual person. It was my first tattoo. When I was 14, I used to have a lot of anger problems. I was a super, like, physically violent person. I was really mean to my mom. And there's a reason I'm telling you this. We were struggling. I always wanted to be a musician when I was, like, younger. I figured that out, and I was kind of arguing with my parents about it at the time, and so I remember I went into my room and I said a prayer, and I asked for like a sign of like if I was supposed to like fulfill this or not. As a 15-year-old, I don't know what I was thinking. I was younger than that. I was probably like 12. And then I put my iPod on shuffle, and the first song that came on was Arise. I don't know, this was just like my little 12-year-old way of like getting an answer from the universe, and the song was called Arise, and it was by Flyleaf. And so I told myself that when I turned 18, I would get that tattoo, and I did. So that's what that one means. This one right here, I got on a tour with these guys that I tour with called Embracer. I was doing their merchandise, and I got it in Austin, Texas. This one I had just gotten out of a breakup with like one of my best friends in the whole world, and so and when I went on that tour, it was like right afterwards, and it was just very healing for me. They're very much like brothers to me, and it was just kind of a reminder that the most valuable love is a mutual love, whether it be romantic or not. And it's from, it's a quote from The Little Prince, which is a French book. And it's my favorite movie in the whole world. I'm trying to think of the others. I have 7 tattoos altogether. So I have one on my neck, which, I don't know if you can see. But it's my astrological sign. I'm a Sagittarius. And so it's my constellation. And my boyfriend and I actually we have the same birth dates, so we kind of got those together. They're not matching tattoos, but we just thought it was cool. We have the same birthday, so why the hell not, you know? I have a lot of matching tattoos, which is really dangerous, but whatever. I have my childhood favorite band tattooed on my ankle. I'm gonna try and show it to you. Right there. And that symbol is the Dance or Die symbol from my favorite childhood band called Family Force 5. I listened to them a lot as a child, and my best friend in the whole world, I've known her since I was 8 years old. Her name is Sam. We got those tattooed together last time. She was in LA before we moved in together. I have a lizard on the other side of my ankle. That doesn't look like a lizard. I don't know what it looks like. Some people think it looks like the Batman symbol. Some people think it looks like sperm. I'm not here to tell you what it is. It's supposed to be a lizard though, because my name is Elizabeth and people call me Lizard. So the guys in that band that I tour with, the bassist Dylan Stick and Poked tattooed me on a couch with a Walmart needle and some Indian ink because he calls me Lizard, and now I'm like branded by him for the rest of my life, and it's awesome. Other tattoos I have, I'm matching one with my mom because now we're best friends because I stopped being an angry child. And this is it right there. It's like a wave, and then it's got the dates for Mother's Day of 2015. She came out to California with me when I first came. And I was meeting with management at the time because she's awesome. And then I have a grilled cheese on the back of my arm that a lot of people think is a jellyfish or a pizza, but it is in fact a grilled cheese, and that is also a matching tattoo with the same girl that I have the Family Force 5 symbol with, and it's kind of symbolic for all of the inside jokes that we have that no one else gets, because that was a moment that we had with a grilled cheese, and now we share a lot of sandwiches, and it's awesome. Okay, I hope that answered your question, Shannon.